Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Unfiltered. Today I've got a special guest, Juan Mojica. He's a legacy employee, started with Tully's, working on 16 years, Juan?
16 years, 16.
All right, and has spent that time all in maintenance, keeping these machines running and pumping out great coffee for our customers. Today we're going to talk about his source trip. Juan, when did you go?
It was 2 years ago that I had the opportunity to go to Colombia. I put my name in every year, but I didn't get picked until 2 years ago. I was really fortunate to get the trip to Colombia.
That was probably the last year that they got to go, right? Because I don't think they went last
That's
year.
correct, because of the COVID.
Oh, great for you.
Yeah, I lucked out.
Great experience. I know I got to go. Tell me about your trip.
Well, like I said, I went to Colombia, and what I did is I took an extra week before the group met, and I went to Medellin and met a former employee here, and they showed me Medellin and the surrounding areas. From there, I flew to Perdia and met up with the group, and it was a group of varied employees from around the country.
Great. So tell me, Juan, what were two things that you learned from this source trip about coffee that you didn't know prior to the trip?
Two things. One of the things was that there in Colombia, you don't have the large, or the areas that we were in, you don't have the large plantations of coffee beans. All the plots are like 2 hectares, and this is what that family subsides on for the year.
So was it a cooperative that you would have several farmers bring their share to the processing plant, and they would get paid for their cherries?
Yes. What they did, the farmers would bring their crop to the co-op, and the co-op there would take a sample and look at the quality of the beans, and by the percentage of bad beans, or the quality of the good beans, that's what they paid them.
Great. What was the biggest takeaway from your experience?
One of the things that really struck me and made an impression was not only that this small patch of land that these people subsided on, was how are you to maintain a workforce to keep bringing the coffee in, because the kids, they don't want to be farmers. A lot of them are they're finally going to school, and we went to this one farm where they had a 16-year-old girl, and I asked her what she wanted to do when she got out of school, and she kind of looked at her parents, kind of going, "Well, do I really want to say?" And she said she wanted to be a graphic designer. But the situation with that is that prior to, a couple years ago, the whole family pitched in to plant the crop, to harvest the crop, and they were the basic low labor force for their patch of land. With the daughter leaving, or a son leaving, for higher educations, for other opportunities, you're losing workers. So then the family has to hire somebody to come and help them, so there goes part of their income. uh, there has to be some solution to that, because I'm sure you wouldn't want your kids, you know, to be farm workers, you know, because parents are always striving for better things for their kids.
Great, great. Yeah, it's definitely a hard situation to be in, and you know, to do that type of work is not for everyone.
That's true.
So, what impact did the source trip have on you personally and professionally?
Personally and professionally, you know, you see, you know, like we went to the co-op, and here's people bringing in one big bag of coffee, and you know, and they're counting on the rate that they're getting. But when I got back here, in so many of the processes, there's just a normal amount of waste, you know, and I just look at, you know, any kind of waste, you know, and I'm going, wow, that is, you know, part of it. If the farmers saw this and they saw all that waste, they'd be going, oh my God, what's, you know.
That could be their entire harvest.
Exactly,
Right?
exactly.
Exactly.
You know, it's a tough situation over there.
Yeah.
You know, we don't, I think a lot of people here don't really appreciate what, you know, even a small amount of coffee spillage, you know, affects the bottom line.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. What is the weirdest thing you ate or drank on the source trip?
Oh, like I told you earlier, that's a tough one, because being a Latino myself, you know, any kind of excess body parts, you know, off of animal, you know, you're gonna be eating, you know, be it the stomach, the tongue, you know, whatever, you know, you're using it,
Yeah.
you know, and you're just used to using it. So there was some varieties of, you know, different varieties of flavors, you know, that they bring in, you know, but it was incredible to experience the food at the restaurants in Medellin where I was and staying with his family. I took him to dinner, and you know, they're heavy into the meats, you know, just really heavy into the meat, you know, and you don't leave unsatisfied, you know.
I can speak to that personally from my trip, but also being in a Filipino family.
Mm-hmm.
Just large gatherings, plenty
Yeah.
of food, and you know, a lot of foods that you know a lot of people don't have access to. So I understand that nothing ever gets wasted,
Mm-hmm.
and that thing. So it's a great story.
Yeah, I joke around telling people it's expensive being a Mexican, because even now tripe is like almost $5 a pound, cow tongue is $6,
Yeah.
you know, and
Definitely making money on things that used to go to the waste.
Yeah, exactly.
It's started to become a regular
Mhm.
part of the cuisine.
Mhm.
So, talking about your source, did you get to pick coffee while you were there?
Yeah, it was. That's one thing we did one day. We were at a farm, and they took us up in the hills. And that's one thing about Colombia. Most of the coffee farms are up in the mountains, and mechanical harvesting like they do in Brazil is basically unheard of, because there's no way you can get machinery. So when you're picking off a hill that's this slope, you know, it's quite different. funny story. We also had some Canadians there from our company up in the Great Northwest or Northeast, wherever it is, where we went up to pick the beans, you know, and then they were saying, okay, who picked the most beans, you know, and being a picker myself, you know, I thought I had it in the bag. Well, these crafty Canadians, what they did is they saw a bucket of beans on the side, and they got it and they dumped it into theirs, you know, so they basically had twice the production that anybody else did.
Yep. So did they weigh all the cherries
Yes.
as a total? And how many people were there?
There was 12 in our group.
Okay, so how many pounds of cherries did you guys pick?
Not much. Not much, let me tell you, because with the beans that you're picking, you're only picking the ripe ones.
Yep.
You know, and leave the green ones for the next
So we actually
sweet.
have a picture back here that can kind of show you what that looks like. So as Juan is saying, they're only picking the ripe red cherries and leaving these green cherries behind. So very, very
Selective.
labor-intensive, attention to detail on how they're picking those cherries.
Yeah.
We had a group of, I believe, 15, and we picked for about an hour and a half, and I think we only picked about 80 pounds of cherries.
Wow.
So to think about that labor, and to only pick 80 pounds of cherries, and you know, we see super sacks of coffee or turnaround coffee being filled up on a weekly basis, or even sometimes a daily basis. You know, seeing that amount of scrap can really have an impact on somebody that has gone through that process.
Yeah. But, you know, I have to note also, I mean, I was, you know, really upset about it when I'd see the spillage when I first got back. But I got back to earth when somebody told me the farmer has already been paid. You know, the coffee has been received, you know, from the coffee vendor, you know. So, in essence, you're not taking anything that the farmer, you know, picked. I mean, got paid for.
Yep.
You know, so it kind of grounded me, but it still bothered me.
Yeah, because you know what that coffee, what it took to pick that coffee.
Oh man.
And all the hands that have touched that coffee.
Yeah.
And for it to not meet its final destination, which is in the cup, is sad to see. Because this is what we're working for, right? This is
Yes.
what's paying our paychecks, and for that coffee to not to meet this cup, it is a sad sight. All right. Is there anything else you want to share about your trip?
I tell people, you know, when they start up the trips again, sign up. You never know. It was, you know, 13 years before my name was picked. I guess they just got tired of me sending letters to them saying they needed a different system of picking people, you know. But it was quite an experience. I've traveled quite a places around the world. China was one of my favorite places until I took this Colombia trip. It isn't, you know, it's kind of like a vacation, but it's not a vacation. It's a learning experience. You gain so much. You learn about other cultures, and what may be a norm to them may be, well, substandard to us. But they thrive, and they're doing well, and we couldn't do without them. And I'm really grateful to the company for picking me and going to Colombia.
Great. Well, we actually have some Colombia in front of us, so I thought it'd be fun for us to taste some Colombian.
All right.
This is the Great Value Colombian. It's actually a very nice coffee. It's going to have a lot of red fruit, cocoa, spice to it, and so hopefully, this will take you back to that first trip and bring back those memories that you shared with those folks.
Yeah, it's a point that, I mean, when I got back, all I drank was Colombian coffee. And the way they served it over there is, a little more full body.
Yeah. What was their brewing method?
Well, we did do a cupping, did this, but most of the time, going to the restaurant and stuff, it was just, machine. I never went to a specialty coffee shop.
All right. So there it is. Cheers.
Cheers. Colombia.
Colombia. So to me, just a classic Colombian. Nice fruit, caramel, some cocoa in the background, a very nice clean finish.
I was going to say that it lingers on the tongue just for a little bit, and then it
Yep.
ends.
This is something that you could drink all day long. It's not overpowering. It's not underwhelming. It's just a nice balance of flavor and character.
What the Colombians that we produce, are most of them different recipes, or are they basically the same recipe, just packaged in a?
A lot of them, they might be from different regions of Colombia. This one, I believe, is a Colombia Excelso. We have a Colombia Popayan, and other regions of Colombia. Some of them, I believe this one is a light roast or around a 42 agtron, so still has a lot of that brightness and acidity in the coffee. I believe most of our Colombians are taken to that lighter roast just to enhance that coffee's natural flavor.
That is good.
Yep. So today's a big day for you, Juan.
Yes, it is.
I'll let everybody know what today is.
Today, the Granger shoe truck is showing up. No.
Size 10s, right?
Yeah, size too big. No, today is my last day here with the company. I've been working for them since 1995. That's 1995. And I started over at Tully's. Chris was already there. When I started with them, with Tully's, they were a mom and pop. They didn't have a maintenance guy. They had a guy coming in once a week to grease the machines.
I did my best.
Yeah, well, I know that, But the thing was that they needed a full-time mechanic because they were ramping up. And I had been working over at Pyramid, and I just saw the advertisement in the paper, and I had worked coffee with Starbucks from 93 to 97 on Airport Way when we were going for 200 stores. And I saw it and I said, well, let's see, what it is. Well, 16 years later, here I am, and I'm the guy that's going to be holding the flashlight at the end of the tunnel. Follow the light, So, but it's been a great experience, Chris. It just.
Thank you, Juan.
I've known Chris for that whole time. When he was roasting, so.
Yeah. Those are great times.
Yeah.
back then.
It was.
With Juan, it's always a great time. You've been a solid worker, a great friend, and definitely
Thank you, I appreciate that. And, you know, this is a big part of my life, you know, so I do have a lot of plans that are basically in place but are on hold until the COVID balances out in Arizona and here. People ask me if I'm going to get a part-time job. I said, no, I'm retiring. You know, what? Why have a part-time job when if I could stay here, but no.
Yeah. So what's the first thing you do when you wake up tomorrow morning?
Roll back over at, well, actually after going to the bathroom at 3:30 in the morning, roll back over and go to bed. I'm gonna go back to bed and wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning. Or until the dog calls me, unless we know that he needs to go outside. But it's definitely going to be a life change, you know, with this such a big part of my life.
Yeah. Well, good for you. Definitely happy for you.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, thank you, Juan. It's been a pleasure working with you. And I'm sure there's going to be many more of those coming your way as people see you for the last time, at least as a Keurig employee.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be plenty of get-togethers and so on. So that's it for this episode. Join us next week or next time as we do a review of the Green Mountain Coffee Roasters Dark Magic blend. That's it, guys. Cheers, and thanks again. Bye.
See you at spring training.